Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Winter storms on Wednesday created slick roads, and that led to a crash on the interstate that killed one person. The Nebraska State Patrol says a westbound vehicle ran into the back of a semi that had been forced to stop on the interstate near Overton. This happened before sunrise Wednesday. Authorities say the semi wasn't moving because another semi had tipped over onto its side and was blocking both westbound lanes. The name of the person who died has not yet been revealed. Residents in Kearney, meanwhile, woke up to between 3 to 5 inches of snow yesterday. That was the case for most of Nebraska. It did make traveling a challenge, and everyone approached the weather differently. Peter Rice highlights how members of one local gym were ready to counter anything the snow threw their way.
Crews have removed most of the snow from the streets and alleyways, but enough remains to make it difficult to maneuver around town. Despite this, some Kearney residents are fighting back against the winter weather.
You know, people don't want to stay home. You know, some of them ain't working today, so they feel like they need to come in and get a workout. Why not?
Ernest Quintana owns Quintana Boxing. He says it's been business as usual despite the wintry conditions. Him and his family have been in Kearney for over 35 years, so he says he's used to the inclement weather.
No, the code don't. I'm from Nebraska, so I'm used to this.
Boxers Braden and Renard shared the same sentiment, saying nothing would stop them from going to boxing practice.
So it's pretty cold out today. It didn't stop you guys from showing up, huh?
No, never. We got to fight.
Ran here, actually.
We got to get those belts. You know?
That's right.
Neighbor Jay Peterson didn't mind the weather either, saying it gives him a reason to spend time with his daughter's dog Matcha, considering that the snow wasn't too bad.
Well, we need the snow, yeah. We need the moisture. Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
But it's not been a bad snow, no. I mean, this winter has not been bad at all. Weather changes, so you just deal with it.
Renard treats bad weather just as another obstacle he has to pass over in his boxing pursuit.
I just can't stop. The moment you stop is the moment your opponent wins.
Wintry conditions are expected to continue for another couple days, but Renard tells me that he'll continue to show up to the gym, snow or shine, in preparation for his upcoming fight in Hastings on February 22nd. In Kearney, Peter Rice, News Channel Nebraska.
Nebraska wasn't the only one dealing with heavy snow. 2 storms impacted the central and eastern U.S. and brought snow to the north and heavy rainfall to the south, with another giant system on the way. Sherelle Hubbard has more on what Mother Nature has in store for America next.
3 storms are hitting the U.S. this week with a winter combo of rain, snow, and sleet. The first storm had tens of millions of people under winter alerts across the mid-Atlantic and Appalachians, wreaking havoc and dumping snow. Students at Virginia Tech celebrated canceled classes Tuesday with a snowball fight. Virginia State Police reported more than 300 crashes and at least 24 injuries.
When the temperature drops, we'll be back out putting salt and sand on the bridges and the overpasses.
The second storm right behind it.
Looks like it's going to be a rough one.
Bringing snow and ice to central U.S. and heavy rain further south. Cities like Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, Des Moines, and Detroit facing up to a half-foot of snow.
Oh, it's straight up blizzard out here. I had to slow down to stop.
One truck driver coming from Denver was stuck on the side of the road for 6 hours, forced to stop deliveries until the roads in eastern Kansas were clear. A third storm expected to slam California on Thursday. Residents sandbagging and installing temporary barriers ahead of heavy rain and possible flooding. Evacuation warnings have been issued in the Santa Barbara area burned by recent wildfires. The region is expecting several inches of rain and has the potential for flooding and mudslides.
We have the whole hillside behind me has been denuded from the fire, and it already slid a little bit, and now we're preparing that it's going to slide a whole bunch more.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
In other news today, court officials say an Ohio man accused of murdering a man at a central Nebraska rest stop is still not ready for trial. Hall County District Court Judge Andrew Butler ruled that 22-year-old James Thompson is still not competent to stand trial on murder and felony weapon counts. Butler ordered further mental evaluations at the Lincoln Regional Center. Thompson pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity back in October. He was arrested after the murder of 72-year-old Gary Weaver at a Grand Island rest stop last June. Thompson will be back in court for a status hearing in April. A teacher in western Nebraska facing allegations of child abuse. Kimball police say Justin Moore was taken into custody this week on a felony child abuse charge. He's a teacher at Mary Lynch Grade School. Police say school administration is fully cooperating with their investigation, but they have yet to release any specifics on the case. To southeast Nebraska, where a village board member has been forced out of office. The York County Clerk says Patricia Wagner has been recalled by McCool Junction voters. It was a 77-47 margin. A recall petition filed back in September accusing Wagner of violating open meetings laws and abusive behavior toward employees. Wagner denied those allegations in her official response. To the unicameral now, lawmakers this week advancing a proposal to provide at-home nurse visits for mothers on Medicaid. Senator George Duncan's LB 22 expands the Nebraska Prenatal Plus program. The bill requires Medicaid to cover home nurse visits for postpartum mothers and newborns up to 6 months old. The bill was pared down from a requirement that would have also applied to mothers and newborns enrolled in the Children's Health Insurance Program and infants up to 3 years old. The lower cost bill advanced 43-0. Well, head to any gym during a high school sports event and you'll hear plenty of people in the stands who have plenty of advice, let's call it, for referees. But one Nebraska lawmaker thinks that lately fan passion has become abusive and referees need extra protections. Nebraska Senator Bob Anderson has introduced LB 657. It would create a new criminal charge specifically for assaulting athletic officials. The bill drew support from the NSAA in a hearing before the legislature's Judiciary Committee on Wednesday, who pointed out a referee was assaulted at a youth basketball tournament last year in Papillion. Another supporter, State Senator Barry DeKay of Creighton, who also spent decades as a high school official. The bill would make assaulting a referee a Class 3 felony, punishable by up to 3 years in prison. A representative for the State Defense Attorneys Association called the bill redundant, saying those who would assault an official would already face criminal charges. Well, the days of Nebraska's so-called blue dot may be numbered, but while it's still here, it's becoming a target of progressives looking to push back against President Donald Trump. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont announced in a news release he's coming to Nebraska to kick off a tour designed to, in his words, energize the left. The independent four-term senator will be visiting Omaha's Union Hall next Friday before making a stop in Iowa City, Iowa the next day. Sanders says the tour will be targeting the Trump administration and the so-called DOGE committee, spearheaded by billionaire tech mogul Elon Musk. Sanders' announcement said his goal is to host a town hall and make sure Americans hear that they can, quote, fight back, end quote. Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District has been a traditional battleground district carried by Republican Representative Don Bacon in the last 5 elections. This year, the Nebraska unicameral expected to debate a bill that would move Nebraska back to a winner-take-all state, erasing the chance that the 2nd District could give Democrats an extra electoral vote in 2028. And finally, Valentine's Day is Friday. Love is in the air. But if you're looking for love online, law enforcement warn that scams tend to spike this time of year. Jen Sullivan has a few simple steps you can take to protect yourself from falling victim to a romance scam.
Online dating is now the most popular way people meet romantic partners, according to a recent Stanford study. But finding love on the internet can open the door to romance scams. It's where someone sets up a fake profile, gains the victim's trust, and then manipulates them into sending money.
The catfishers always give you instructions how to send them the money.
Jane Mason is a retired FBI agent. She now works with victims and says these types of scams are particularly crushing.
You've lost, your some self-pride, your respect. Maybe you were in love and now you don't have that love relationship anymore. And it's very difficult between your actual loss and then your personal loss.
Nearly 65,000 people reported romance scams in 2023, according to the Federal Trade Commission, with total losses amounting to $1.14 billion. So how can you protect yourself?
One easy step you can do is reverse image search. I'm going to use one of my photos to demonstrate how this works. We're going to pull up Google. In the search bar, you'll notice there's a microphone button and a camera button. We're going to click the camera button, and we're going to upload a photo. You'll notice my picture shows up, and other photos as well. But the key is they all show my name, Jen Sullivan. A scammer's photo would show up, but different names would be listed. That's a red flag.
Fraud is about trust.
Christopher Delzato works in the financial crime section of the FBI. He says be aware if the person wants to leave the dating app to communicate directly, if the person doesn't want to meet in person. Delzato also says these crimes are particularly hard to prosecute because these scammers are often overseas.
Whether it be through our 55 field offices domestically or our reach internationally and all the private sector partnerships and law enforcement contacts we have globally, we try to connect the dots.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.